Hello, this is Yo Sensei. In today's tutorial, we will learn different ways to model facade design using Rhino. The design of facade is experienced with motion. How the movement of viewpoint transforms the facade design is very fascinating. We will model several cases of facade design in Rhino and evaluate their transformation using Twinmotion. You can download the tutorial file from the link below. Okay, let's get to it. So the first one we are going to do is this kind of deformed grid by the scalar shift. And you can see this kind of thing in the Diller and Scofidio's The Broad Museum in downtown LA. So let's get to it. So the first thing that we are going to do is in this tutorial, we are going to use this 20 feet by 12 feet as a side reference. So that's that. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is to create a box, 3D box at 20 feet by 12 feet. And depth, I'm going to use 4 feet as a depth. Or in this case, I think I used 2 feet. So 20 by 12 by 2 feet. Oops. 24 inches. Okay. So now, in this case, what I did was I created this kind of grid that is spheres that will cut from one side and cut from the other side. And that's going to give us this sense of kind of, cut through from both sides. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I am going to produce a sphere that is about 2 feet. 2 feet in radius. Okay. And copy them. 2 feet is a little bit too big, so let's do 1 foot as radius and 2 feet diameter. And then grid snap on, and then just copy them on its edges. And then copy these spheres in this way. Okay, so this is the first set of grid. And so now what I'm going to do is I am going to see this on top view and then just copy them to the other side. Okay, but they need to be half lapping. So I have to move the back one by to the side and to this way. Okay, so that they will kind of half lap. But what I would like to see is for these guys to overlap with each other. So they need to come in a little bit closer. So what you can do is move them in from one side and move them in from the other side as well. So move them in from one side, move them in from the other side. And let's see what it's going to do. I think it's a little bit too thick. So I want them to be overlapping with each other. But so you're gonna have to like really adjust this by looking at this. Okay. So let's try this Boolean difference from one side. And so this one produced a result that is undesirable. It's because some of them didn't work. So what I'm going to do is a Boolean difference and then just take every other ones for now. And do Boolean difference again, taking every other ones. Boolean difference. Yeah. So sometimes, the cutting surfaces are sharing these edges. It just doesn't work very well. So so this one looks very nice, actually. Nicer than what I produced as a demo. Um, so it kind of like creates on the sphere from both sides. So you can like really adjust the distance of this from one side to the other. This could actually will be a really nice, beautiful facade. But for the sake of this, so the next step would be to run cage edit, and uh, control object is bounding box, coordinate system Z plane, point count 6, y point count 6, z point count 4, x degree 3, y degree 3, z degree 3. And region to edit is global. So now I am able to take some of these points and then start making them, deforming the sizes of this. Now I am going to be able to take some of the pieces and make it smaller. Um, this is going to take a lot of computing power, so be very careful about it. But what it's going to do is it's going to really produce this sense of um, scale gradation, which is really nice. So if you can. And then I think it's going to be beautiful if they are, if these circles keep their, proportion to be circular. So keep trying. And then it's going to be really nice if we have like very pinched moments and then very, big, larger scale moments. So you could really try with the cage edit to produce this kind of, test with this kind of effects. So what it's going to do is it's going to really recreate this sense of, scale transition. Okay. Very nice. All right, so that's the first one. And the second one is creating this kind of like grid break pattern that is going to kind of like, be pinched with the um, base surface. Okay, so to do this, you are going to produce a series of curves, a curve on the ground plane that is going to kind of like peel off creating this kind of curvy effect, and then copy them a couple of times, and then I guess you can record history and loft, and um, control points on, and then start kind of like, creating this kind of sense of peel. This is kind of cool. Yeah, I wonder what it's going to do. So let's try it this way, as if this thing is kind of like peeling off. Oh yeah, cool. So next step that we are going to take is to draw a plane on the ground plane that is 20 feet by 12 feet. And press P to planar surf. So now this is the surface. And then we are going to produce a brick pattern on the ground. And so brick is going to be 6 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches, I think. And then we are going to kind of like copy it, but slightly off, slightly with distance. So we can like create this kind of slight distance. If you copy the first one, then you will be able to just copy using the same distance of the previous one, which is nice. Or you can use array, whichever works for you. Okay, so this is my first row, and my second row of bricks is going to be like situated like this. You should probably do it in a little bit more scientific way. And so now I am going to copy this one using this same distance. So now I'm going to take the second row and then just copy from this row to this row to this row, and copy from this row to this row. So, and then this is a little bit out of my bounding box. So, in this case, what I would like to do is to just select all of these and deselect the base surface and group them. Okay, so this can be selected as a group. So we are going to run flow along surface command, and the object to flow along surface is this one. Enter, and base surface is this. And then in this case, one thing that I want you to change is rigid is no, and constant normal, constraint normal is no. But we would like to change it to rigid yes, and rigid groups no, because we would like to keep the kind of proportion of the bricks when it goes into the plane. So this is a target surface. So now it has been brought to this target surface in a way that is deforming with the target surface, which I think is really beautiful. The spacing and this kind of stuff is determined by how dense this original brick is. So you can adjust it to get the perfect kind of tuning for your project. Okay, so that is the second one. Okay, and next one is wood joinery. So this is a kind of application of the same thing that we just did, and this kind of gives you a sense that is similar to Kengo Kuma's Starbucks in Fukuoka, Japan. So let's get to it. So in this case, what we are going to do is to create this kind of like sense of tunnel type of thing. So I'll take this and then copy it couple times, and record history, loft. And so now we can just take the original curve and then change, its proportion and and things. Okay. So now we are going to take it down. So our surface is slightly bigger than what we have. So I'm just going to approximate how big this surface is going to be. Okay. So so planar surf to create surface. So now what I'm going to do is to create like 4 inches by 4 inches by 6 feet box, and just lay it out flat here. So now I am going to kind of take this one, copy this, and then create, kind of diagonal grid using this. And then next, I guess I'm going to take this whole grid and then rotate it somehow. And then copy this series using the same distance. And more, yes. And then maybe take another set and rotate it this way. Now I'm going to have these. So try to keep the distance between same series as much as possible if you can. Then same distance. And this one works nicely when you have objects that are overlapping with each other. So, keep them overlapped. So just gonna start from here, then copy. Yeah, try to copy from and to same location as much as possible. So I guess this is dense enough. So we will be using the same technique, that is, flow along surface with rigid option. So let's group this. Flow along surface, and then base and target. And so now they are a little bit too dispersed, and kind of not quite dense enough. So what that means is that if I can just, it's taking the same scale. So if I just make this one bigger on this side, and then it's going to take the same scale, so it gets denser on the target. So let's try again. What you just need to do is just change the scale of it. Oops. Flow along surface. Okay, so now this is getting a lot denser. So all you need to do is to change the size of the original one. Okay, so that is the with joinery type of pattern. When you're actually designing it, it gets a lot more sophisticated than that. But you know, just for the rough sketch design, this would be fine. Okay, so the next one is Moyer Effect, and this is a super cool one. So what it is that we have this kind of like three different patterns that has bigger holes and medium holes and smaller holes. And then when they are overlapping with each other, you can like really see this kind of like super cool Moyer effect by moving through it. And so that's quite nice. So we can get to that. This one is just simple. So I'm just gonna do it. And you know, you can just, it's very simple. So you can just draw this and then draw a bunch of curves with certain distances. And then when you are done, when you're done, all you need to do is select both circle and the frame and then extrude it by 1 inch. It's fine. So for the rest of it, I'm just going to do it fast forward this. So just fast forward this. So just you can do it on your own. Okay, so I have now produced these three patterns, and all you need to do is put them next to each other or behind each other. And you can really play with the distance and, you know, overlapping, sense of overlapping, order and overlapping with each other. So now we are able to see this in a way that they are nested with each other. Very nice. You can. This is a negative pattern, but you could do this with a positive pattern as well. So the next step is next one is actually a really cool one too. So it's a very simple thing, but you could actually change the distance between this kind of like vertical bars from each other, and then it will show a sense of kind of speed in this one. So it's really cool. So it's a very simple idea, but it needs to be mathematically correct in order for it to look very nice. So what we are going to do is we are going to just create a 1 inch by 10 inch by 12 feet bar. Okay, so this is where we start, and then in order to get that kind of distance, what you can do is you can create on top view this kind of curve with 3 points. So what it does is that it's going to really create this sense of bell curve that is going to be changed with distance. So if I am going to divide this by 30 segments, and then it really changes the density as we go. So you can just draw a curve from here and then draw a curve to these points. You can see how the density of the curve is going to change as it go. So that's a pretty cool way to play with the cadence and difference of the object. So all you need to do is then just copy this into different spots. So to the intersection point of this. Okay, now what we're going to have is this kind of piece that has very cool play on the distance between bars. Okay, so the last one in this section is a variation of this, and it changes the depth as you go. And so if you kind of like see it in this way, when you have the shallower distance, you see less, but when it goes to you see more. When it goes to the deeper distance, then you will see less. So I think this is going to give you a beautiful visual effects as you move through the space. So let's get to that. And so what you need to do is to create the same type of panel first. Okay, so in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a curve on the top view. And then it's going to kind of like start increasing, and then it's going to kind of like come down, and then it's going to end here. Okay, so maybe it's a little bit too exaggerated. So, but I think having very thin part and very thick part is nice. So rest of it you can just copy it like every I don't know 6 inches or so. And then scale 1D each of it to this curve. So it's a pretty straightforward process. I'm just gonna speed this up. Okay, so now this is done, and what it does is that it has very thick moment and thin moment in the facade, and as you're moving through the space, it's going to give you a very different type of visual effects of reveal and conceal. So these are the basic movements of the facade. Let's watch how these facade designs will feel in motion again. I hope you will find this tutorial helpful. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.